It's a political world, and you're in it. Meow, baby.
Faster than you. Saw you coming, you shitheel. You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Hi, welcome to Fast Cat. Here's a little catnip for you. We're talking about Robert De Niro. All right. First, we're going to touch on his limited acting ability. Then we're going to talk about what he's done to the locals on the island of Barbuda with his Nobu business, turning it into a playground of the rich and famous, people like Robert De Nobody. So Robert De Niro has been talking a lot of shit for some time now. Not only is he telling lies about President Trump, but he's dirtying it up like he's a wise guy for real. Unfortunately, in this acting role, he's also insulting Trump voters, so he's insulting half the country.
We're not going to intimidate. That's what Trump does, to try to intimidate. We have to fight back. We're trying to do it. We're trying to be gentlemen in this world, the Democrats. You are gangsters. You are gangsters. Fuck you.
You're a little punk. You're a softy. You're a nobody. Your mommy's soft. You're trash. Fuck you.
Paid sellout.
You're a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
We're trying to be gentlemen in this world, the Democrats. You are gangsters.
Excuse me.
You are gangsters.
You're washed up.
Fuck you.
You're a traitor to Italian and Jews.
But I am so angry that this person, and let alone a New Yorker, came and hustled the world and hustled this country. Hustled the country. And they believe him. Maybe it's too many hours, too many years of the Apprentice or whatever, but it's...
So we got to give it back to you, Robert De Niro. You mutt. Who's a mutt now? You mongrel. Me and a few million fans really respected you and your roles. No more, you asswipe. Nobody can accept that there are people who have views different than his. See, Nobody has been idolized so long, celebrated so long, no one has ever told him no. He's surrounded by people that tell him, yes, Mr. De Niro, anything you say, Mr. De Niro. You want I should shit my pants? Of course, Mr. De Niro. Fact is, the mud actor is a hack. As a moviegoer looking at his career, I can say this. Nobody has one speed. We see it in every movie he makes. He does the wise guy thing in one form or another. Try to get him to take on a different role and he's lead in water. The hack sinks to the bottom. He doesn't have the skills to do other roles like the rest of the cast. Even stepping out of the wise guy mode and into Raging Bull wasn't a leap. Yeah, he packed on the pounds for the physical transformation into an obese Jake LaMotta, but let's face it, Jake LaMotta wasn't exactly Mr. Bright for smarts. Maybe it was a little too close to home for Nobody. And the movie Cape Fear was his attempt at playing a southern role. What a piece of shit. He's the only one in the cast who couldn't hold water. No pun intended. Look, Nobody, if you want to hate President Trump, go ahead. Trump's a lot tougher than you, and he's got a hell of a lot more going on upstairs. You couldn't reach that intellect if you rode an escalator upstairs. If you want to keep whatever respect you got left, stop insulting half the country. I don't give a shit if you insult Trump. The half voting for Trump, you don't have to like it, just respect people's choice. Using your word, stop acting like a mutt. Now let's talk about Barbuda. It's a Caribbean island. Actually, Antigua and Barbuda comprise an island nation.
On this plot, Mohammed Walbrook is building his future home. This 1-acre piece of land cost him nothing. In Barbuda, land is owned in common. It cannot be bought or sold.
I got this property by going through the Barbuda Council. When you see the area you want, you do the necessary paperwork that you have to fill out, and it becomes yours. It's free, yeah.
The first inhabitants of Barbuda were Africans reduced to slavery. Upon abolition in 1834, the Barbudans were forgotten by the British Crown. They had brought with them their traditions. They organized themselves to collectively manage the land, as their ancestors did. In 2007, this custom was enshrined in the law with the Land Act.
These ones haven't been taken by newspaper.
Mohammed Walbrook is a photographer. Like the other inhabitants of the island, he lost everything in 2017 after Hurricane Irma. This cyclone, one of the most violent on record, destroyed a large part of Barbuda.
I would describe it as the worst night you could ever go through in your whole life, going through Irma. You had winds howling like you've never heard anything before. It was terrifying.
In the aftermath of the hurricane, the government ordered the evacuation of all residents to Antigua, the main island of this archipelago state. This trauma is still present in everyone's mind.
These photos are of people after the mandatory evacuation was issued.
For 6 weeks, Barbudans were prevented from returning home.
Most left by boat, some people left by plane.
Barbudans were only waiting for one thing, to come back and rebuild their island. Since 2018, Prime Minister Gaston Brown has been trying to introduce private property to Barbuda. He wants to make the island a paradise for wealthy tourists.
When we came back, there were already construction workers here. So that's one of the things. No one was here, so they could pretty much do whatever they want.
North of Barbuda, the American group PLH is building more than 400 luxury villas, artificial lagoons, and a golf course. Activist John Mussington wanted to show us how PLH discreetly privatizes the most beautiful beaches on the island.
This checkpoint is in the middle of the public road. This road leads down to the beach.
What's the name? We can let you know.
Okay.
Get permission.
After a few minutes of negotiation, security threatens to call the police.
I'm pressing charges. Make sure to take a picture, John, is where that vehicle is.
John Mussington's accusations are ruffling feathers.
Trespassing, no. We'll have a conversation.
No, you stay right here until the police come. Let's let the police resolve it.
Foreign investors cannot buy land on the island. The Council of Barbuda leases them a plot for a period of 50 years. But the authority of the council is questioned by the government of Antigua.
What the government is trying to tell us is that our system of common ownership is preventing development. And if we want to get development in Barbuda, then we have to start allowing the land to be sold, freehold. Once you open up a market like that, then property values are going to go up, and it's going to go outside of the reach of the ordinary Barbudan.
In 2015, celebrated actor Robert De Niro bought the lease to this former hotel destroyed by Irma. The government of Antigua is said to have promised him that this lease would become his if the Land Act is revoked. This promise was honored in 2018. While the population was still dispersed following Hurricane Irma, the Land Act was cancelled. Since then, Barbudans can buy back their land from the government for $1. Only 100 inhabitants have chosen this procedure.
With a change in the land system, where people are now able to buy land, millionaires will buy this. They'll put up the 10-foot fences. Barbudans won't be able to afford it, so we're locked out. We become nothing. We disappear.
After several appeals, the revocation of the Land Act was ratified by the highest court of Antigua and Barbuda in June 2022. But the council now wants to plead its case before the International Court of Justice.
George, Nai, you all right?
Since the start of this political crisis, the government of Antigua has halved the council's budget.
So the government has been running a deliberate strategy to pauperize the people. And if they can get us to leave from here, that's what they want. But it's not going to happen.
The resistance is organizing from Barbuda. John Mussington discovered online other communities that defend communal lands.
Me alone sitting here as an isolated individual, I cannot fight the billionaires, but by linking with colleagues in Belize, Jamaica, England, all over the world, we're able to pool resources, and that common voice has to be listened to.
Around the world, indigenous communities are struggling to preserve their collective property. In 2016, an Oxfam report estimated that 2.5 billion people depend on community land.
Barbuda is a small jewel, about only 62 square miles. This is important to understand because any commercial enterprise will have a dramatic and devastating effect on the island, environmentally and socially. Okay? So what happens? You see, Barbuda is owned by 1,800 citizens, many of whom are descendants of slaves. In the abolition of slavery dating back to 1834, ownership of the land was sacred to the citizens. In 2007, ownership of the land was codified by the 2007 Land Act, stating in part, no land in Barbuda shall be sold. Developers could obtain leases, but it required approval from the islanders. Consequently, few foreign businesses set up business there, no cruise ships at all. It was too difficult to process. For Robert De Niro, the venture wasn't so difficult. He and his partners, including James Packer, former chairman of Crown Resorts, had help moving the project with Prime Minister Brown. From what? Antigua, Barbuda. And by the way, they appointed De Niro the position of Special Economic Envoy. Can you believe this? Special Economic Envoy. This role provided De Niro the role of diplomatic passport. What were they looking for in the appointment? Well, they wanted De Niro to attract investment and American celebrities to the islands. So there it is. Bring us investors, Robert. Bring us celebrities. Quid pro quo, right? Well, De Niro, we'll get your Nobu restaurant and hotel passed. To hell with the 2007 Land Act. To hell with the land, to hell with the people, right? Princess Diana, who loved visiting the island Cape Club because of its privacy. Barbudans loved Princess Diana. She didn't try to buy the land. She didn't try to start businesses there. In 2017, Hurricane Irma ripped through the island, devastating everything on the island. There was 90% destruction of property. Can you believe that? Winds reached 180 miles per hour. The devastated Cape Club was abandoned. The hurricane cleared the island of most of its property and cleared a path for Robert De Niro's plans for his business on Barbuda. Prime Minister Brown ordered a mandatory evacuation of the Barbudans, right? They were distributed across the sister island of Antigua and elsewhere. When it came time for their return, not all of them did. Were they all notified? No one really knows. This is beginning to sound a lot like the fire on the Hawaiian island, where the rich outsiders like Oprah Winfrey and Mark Zuckerberg and others started collecting the land, right? Well, Barbudan citizens were off the island in 2017 due to the mandatory evacuation. In other words, while they were gone, the 2007 Land Act was secretly repealed. It stamped out commercial land rights. This means whatever rights the citizens believed they had to land on the island suddenly drifted from the shore and disappeared on the ocean's horizon. The repeal of the land rights also terminated a rule that developments required approval by the Barbuda Council and majority of its citizens. Well, De Niro and his band of brothers, investors, could now swoop in, get land, and build. And he did. To hell with the Land Act and Islanders. 2017 was a good year for De Niro. Nobu Restaurant and Hotel. De Niro could build on the former site of the K Club, and he would have 391 acres to play with and a 198-year lease. Stunning. And there would be investors and celebrities. Yeah, another playground for the rich. Earth on a small island would be moved. Critical lagoons would be drenched in order to accommodate yachts. Yeah. Still, locals would no longer have rights to their land. Great job, De Niro. Great job influencing such dramatic changes in the lives of the descendants of slaves. Good work. Now, who's the mutt? Now, who's the carpetbagger? It's you, Bobby. You're the carpetbagger. This has been some catnip. Please follow, subscribe, whatever the case may be. Repost this. People need to know what's going on. Take care. Until next time, meow, baby.